Welcome back, guys. You know what? We check our Twitters in between games. Thank you so much for the little tips and tricks you guys are giving us. Things like in-game music, we turned that down.
Yes, we did.
Things like the crowd being too loud, we can't turn that down. If anything, it's going to get turned up. So we're just going to have to scream and shout as much as we possibly can and chug monsters until our veins explode. If we can do that, then perhaps you'll be able to hear us. But you know what? Enough about us. Let's get this freaking third game going. Go. Really excited about this. The map is Shakira's Plateau, chosen by our Terran player. This has been the team map, I feel, for a long time. They've gone here. We've seen Thorazane use it.
I don't think we were supposed to hear that. I don't really know.
Mike, our production guy, just said something to us, but it came out as... Oh, he's talking to somebody else in production.
And actually, Shakira's, for a little while, like, it was definitely the Terran map.
Yeah.
But now with the strength of the Broodlord Infestor Corruptor combination at the end of the game, it's kind of become a bit of a Zerg map. It's so easy to just stay alive through the mid-game.
Would you call it a Zerg map?
I don't know, but a lot of Terrans don't like it nearly as much as they used to anymore.
DD's got a special plan. I think you're right. You said he's a build order Terran?
He is an old-school Terran, and he is a build order Terran. And interestingly enough, we do have close by air. He does like that build where you just elevator down a bunch of units and push up into here. And now that Zerg players don't really use muta builds nearly as much anymore, now that they play much more greedy, much more drone-centric, and then into infestors, that can be quite hard to deal with if you don't take out these rocks in the early game.
I was just going to say, it's a very interesting exchange here because really good Zergs have the peace of mind to do that.
Oh, actually, we're going to see a 2-Rex here, I think. He's building the depot back in his base. We could see a proxy 2-Rex.
Is that early enough? I mean, shouldn't the SCVs already be out, though?
Depends on what timing he wants to do it. It's not going to be an 11-11 Rex. It's not a super cheesy one.
This is the bunker rush map.
Could be 12-14 out here, and then he pulls 3 SCVs and tries to bunker block the ramp.
This is Select's go-to map. Select has been bunker rushing Zergs since 1999 on this map. And
well, he is actually still continuing SCV production, so it could be another double command center instead.
Okay.
Although usually then you still wall in the ramp, so it could be double command center into 2 barracks.
Well, we're just starting to get, I mean, there's no SCV movement. I really feel like it's going to be command center first.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. This is too late.
Now, that kind of brings me to the point I was going to say. Like, it's very interesting because really on top of it, Zergs will kill these rocks. Yeah. But Zergs that make a lot of queens, they can't kill those rocks.
Yeah, I mean, they have like 6 slow lings, so you can't really go out. And there it is, command center first. Kane, again, on top of his scouting, very, very early. He sees that immediately. He'll also go up in the main, and without a wall in, it will be a 2-Rex. You can't really safely go Hellion without a wall here. And so we should see that coming from him. It will be interesting to see if Kane actually goes in and scouts if it's tech or not, because this Overlord will probably leave before it sees the gas timings.
Be very interested to see if Kane does the same thing he's done the first 2 games as well, which is Ling and Fester. I mean, one of the things we talk about with best of 3s in competition is the benefit and advantage of trading up your play, changing it around. I mean, it's really scary when a guy shows Mutas one game and then Ultra Ling Baneling the next game. But when somebody does the same thing, especially against a very intelligent build order style Terran like DDE, you're kind of giving up one of your advantages. If he knows what you're going to do, his build order will be cultivated to kill you before you get there or as you get there.
But as you say that, Kane, apparently he can hear us. He is changing it up. He just put down a gas. So Kane will be diversifying this. I'd be really interested to see if he goes 2-Ash Muta on here. I love that build on this map.
Yeah.
Just because Terrans often play so abusively, they either go ridiculously fast third command center because this ledge allows you to defend that so easily, or they go Hellion Banshee because it is so hard for Zerg to defend this third base versus that. And so 2-Ash Muta is an excellent counter to both of those builds.
I feel like 2-Ash Muta is strong in the metagame right now as it is anyways. A lot of Terrans have moved away from early game Marines like they used to have.
Yeah, almost no Terran build is actually very good against 2-Ash Muta now. And Terrans are just very uncomfortable with the idea of it because it doesn't happen, and they've gotten out of the mindset of preparing for it. And DD has kind of gone and proved me wrong. I did say he wasn't going to go Hellion, but he is. Interestingly, he's only doing it off 1 gas. Generally, if you fast expand, you get the double gas to get your Hellions out faster, get that factory in time.
I would imagine a huge bio follow-up or something like that, right?
Potentially. I don't know, but just having 1 gas at this point, I'm not really sure what that means. It's a non-standard build. As we said, DD, he always does his own thing.
He's actually pulling SCVs back. I'm not sure what he's seeing right now.
Is that potentially a fake? Because this Overlord is right here that can see the empty mineral line. He thinks it's some kind of really weird SCV all in time.
Let's take a look. Interesting.
I don't know.
It's just interesting play, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure what he's getting at here. Reactor does go down on that barracks, and you'll notice that gas is kind of approaching about 70 supply. I was going to say maybe a starport, but I don't think so. There's not going to be any cloakless Banshee here.
A tech lab.
Well, in control. No?
So I don't know. The tech lab would say to me that he's going tanks and he's going to use that to push through here with tanks, but with only one gas, he's not really going to be able to afford tank plus siege plus Stargate.
Kind of everything gets seen here, by the way, by the Zergling.
Maybe he's just going to switch those and use the tech lab. Yeah, he's just going to use the tech lab for the barracks and then the reactor for the Hellions. That makes much more sense.
He even lowered the wall. Like, oh, it's double tech lab bio, but that still could just be a...
I think he wanted him to see the factory on the tech lab to think tank push or something of that sort, and now he's going to do the Hellion Marauder attack.
Really, on this map, too.
Yep,
I mean, I guess if they try to take a third, it's dead.
He's getting stim, and he's getting 2 barracks with... So it's going to be a 2 barracks variation instead of 3. That means it will come much faster. I'm sure he'll go as soon as stim finishes. And we actually have a Roach Warren on the way from Kane. He also has 2 gas, so it could potentially be a Roach Bane bust. And this is a really interesting little situation. Both of them are doing pretty aggressive builds, so whoever realizes it first and turns it into a defensive economy build wins. Because they're going to both have access to enough units to win a fight, and it depends on who commits more to the fight that they then lose.
9 Roaches are about to come out, but I think one of the advantages of the Terran variation of this opening is that it's to their benefit that they poke and prod with their with their Hellions. We actually see an engineering bay block going down to the potential third of the Zerg, and the Hellions are just parked at the tower. That's very unfortunate, but they will spot these Roaches coming across, and the second DD sees that, he knows exactly what he's facing.
And interestingly, DD actually already has a bunker up on the high ground behind his wall, so he's going to be able to just collapse back into that and absorb the attack and then come out with a really strong counter. Unless Kane is actually just strong enough to bully through this, as he is going the Roach Baneling attack. This is going to be pretty dedicated aggression. 20 more Zerglings in production, so he is actually really, really going to push this.
I feel like if you're Kane, you're hoping to face something else when you're doing this, though, right?
Like, yeah, you don't really want Marauders to already be out. You don't want your opponent to be producing units, really. You want them to be doing a greedy or very tech-heavy build. And here comes the attack.
A strong push
this
either
bunker
way.
gets down, that's huge for DD. He does have 2 Marauders in this bunker. He has a second Marauder behind it. He has all these Hellions here to take down the Zerglings, but a lot of Banelings coming in here for Kane.
And
first bunker goes down.
Hit the bunker. They're trying to muscle their way up. The depot's down, though. That's a huge mistake.
The second bunker goes down as well, but that used all his Banelings and all his Zerglings. These Roaches will get cleaned up easily, and DD just absolutely destroyed that attack. Perfect defense by him.
Not even Banelings behind it.
No.
And if you want to talk about a few things, the Zerg, no lair, no third hatch, just 2 gases, so it's not like there's a huge surplus or anything either.
No spine crawlers or anything, which means he's going to have to be producing pure units to have any chance of holding off this attack.
Do you think DD pushes out against it?
He definitely could. I don't know if he will know that he can or not. Actually, a bunch more Roaches in production. Kane is expecting an attack. DD might just mind game and hold back and sit on his economic advantage.
Yeah, DD is not counting out the fact that he should think he's ahead, but isn't sure if he can attack.
Yeah. And that might end up being a smart decision by him because they do have equal worker count. He already has a 3rd orbital coming down. No 3rd hatchery just yet for Kane.
Yeah.
So DD with a big production advantage and equivalent economy.
And Kane's got some indecision going on here, too. He had a 2nd evolution chamber actually canceled. Not sure if he's saying to himself, I can't afford it or I don't want it. But in either case, Kane is the guy on the back foot right now. I think he came out way worse in that exchange of battles. And he's pushing out with Roaches. I like this because it might sell to DD, hey, here comes second wave.
But DD is okay with that. He already has the 2 bunkers up. He has got pretty good unit production coming. He's actually started tanks with his siege mode on the way. Any kind of attack, he doesn't have to change what he's doing at all to hold off an attack. Though he does actually put down another bunker. So it does scare him a little bit.
25 minerals down the drain.
And the opportunity cost.
Well, right.
Those 100 minerals right now could be going into something else.
Should we call it 37? Do you think 37 is safe?
37 minerals? That's fair.
That's it. I think opportunity cost roughly 12 minerals. DD's sitting on a robust economy. You talked about having equal harvesters. Right now there's a slight Zerg lead, but quite frankly, if you're within arm's length reach of that, it's bad news bears. But Kane's showing he's on top of things. He's going to down those rocks. And, this is like an understated point, like you're supposed to do this, but you'd be surprised how many Zergs forget about that. And if those rocks are up when tanks are outside your what used to be like an access patch or pathway, but now it's just a wall, you're dead. You're in trouble. It's going to do a lot of damage.
Although, interestingly, he is actually going Spire, and I don't know if he does see the Spire. DD just scanned that. He saw the Spire. He knows what's coming. But there's also a bunch of Roaches still in production. So Kane is going like Zergling Roach Muta, which is really, really weird, especially with that 3rd base. He doesn't have these gases in order to afford a bunch of Mutas, to afford to put gas into anything else. So he's going to be very, very gas-starved if he actually does go ahead and try and start Muta production with the Spire.
To be honest, clutch. It's like the Roman arenas out there. I do want to say this. I prefer I like the Infestor and how it functions for the Zerg right now. Like when they get behind, they go, okay, if I can get Infestors out and land some Fungals and just kind of double expand, I should be in okay shape. And I see Zerg do that time and time again. The Muta, however, it's a little bit more of a hedged bet. Doesn't have as much utility. If it can't harass because there's missile turrets and Marines, they're up shit creek, man. They're in trouble.
Yeah, the one problem with this map that's really, really scary is the center high ground.
Yeah.
So if you are going Infestor, and a smart Terran like DD will 100% take advantage of this. Put tanks up here, put some bio up there, and that just absolutely messes with everything you want to do. It's almost impossible to attack. They have full control over the entrance to your base. So you're almost forced to go Muta in a lot of situations on here.
Yeah.
But as you said, you can't go Muta from behind. Like there's no real utility there in order to make a comeback or really to do anything. It's very much so a map control unit, keep yourself more ahead unit. So,
yeah.
But there's actually no turrets here. DD did not see the Spire when he scanned it.
And they're going to do some damage.
Yeah, there's no Marines back in the main. There's nothing at all.
There's not
here.
a lot of Marines in general, Greg.
Yeah, if we look at the unit count, 24 Marines. I don't believe he has combat shield just yet. So.
Yeah, he does. He's got combat shield at least.
He does. A lot of SCVs went down there and are all forced to run away. 10 workers killed.
Tanks.
Also a tank going down, and this mineral line absolutely undefended as well. The Marines have all gone back into the main, so they're not there to cover that. He's taking a ton of damage right here, really.
A lot of damage. He's not actually going after the SCV constructing that missile turret. A little bit of a mistake, but the second tank will go down as well. And Kane does not have a lot of mutas out. If you look at that production tab, there's actually no more queued up. I wonder if this is kind of the, hey.
Oh, a huge drop at the same time to the third base of Kane.
That's where the 24 Marines are.
Yeah, that hatchery will go down. He does pick up immediately. He lost almost nothing there. A great trade. A great trade for DDE there. He lost 13 workers plus the 2 tanks. But losing that third base, that's just pretty terrible for Kane.
It's a bigger deal for Zerg.
Yeah,
it just simply is. I mean,
although Kane does have this other base, he took the natural at the same time as well. Kane's actually been playing really well behind that Muta harass. He didn't over-dedicate to it. He was producing drones and other units behind it. The only thing that's really going against him is he has not teched up to Infestor Tech just yet.
Greg, as our dear friend Tasos would say, it's time. And I'll tell you what, these Roaches have survived into the mid-game. They're going to do such a great job anchoring this very, it's a small Terran army with only 1 tank. There's a chance that Kane could actually bust up the hopes and dreams of DD in this first round. He's going to push forward. The bunker's getting loaded up. Marines, the tank getting targeted down. It still survives. Banelings are trying to detonate, and there's going to be a lot of damage. I'm not sure who's coming out ahead here. The Banelings are not doing as much as I thought.
Yeah, with all that 1 tank there, that did quite a bit. However, DD spread out his units really, really nicely. There was just layer after layer that Kane had to go through. And Banelings evaporated on the first round, and that, there's just nothing left to really do damage. A force lift here, but at the same time, a drop comes in here and finishes off that hatchery. Might be able to kill this off. Units coming back. Kane knows he has to defend it, but that's a pretty scary little army there from DD.
Kane is playing brilliant, though. I got to say, this drop, yeah, okay, it cancels the 4th, but there's still a robust 3rd for the Zerg player that is held down. No hive just yet. That's really important to note. And I want to check this. I think there's actually no infestation pit.
I don't believe I've seen one go up. No,
there it is.
Just not putting that down.
That's a mistake.
Within the current metagame, that's an incredibly late hive.
Yeah.
If DD actually establishes this 3rd base, he's going to have enough time to get a big army and attack before the hive finishes. And that is what Terran is always aiming to do.
And I really like that DD is still keeping... Wow, those mutas, what are they doing? Okay. Well, there's going to be 1 survivor. He's actually making more mutas. That's a huge mistake. I'm sorry, I'm going to break away from my train of thought because that's not good.
I do not know why he's doing that at all. He was doing it perfectly before. He made a handful. He did as much damage as he could with them. He had enough to keep air control of the map, and then he was switching away.
I feel like if he gets the infestation pit and he has 1,000 gas, that's a great situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be saving up that gas for the Infestor Tech. And double medevac still being annoying here for DD. Just really nothing Kane can do about that. He doesn't have enough mutas to engage, and DD's just being very smart about how he uses it. Until he gets Infestors out, that's just going to sit there.
It's going to attack bases forever. Yeah. I don't think it ever dies, is the thing. And Kane's kind of realizing that, so he's going to go after the rocks here. He really wants to take that position back. If the mutas can get at those medevacs and have ground support with the Marines up in the air, that's a great situation. Zerg player comes out ahead there. But as it is, Zerg's on 3 base. He's kind of realizing he needs to get a 4th going, so he's going to take the middle base and the top base. And look at those medevacs. They just relocate. Hey, guess what, mutas? You can't do that. No, you can't do that. Okay.
And that's so many mutas out from Kane. That's a lot of wasted gas that really could be invested into much more efficient units.
Yeah.
We have 3-3 upgrades coming from DD already. Kane not even on Hive yet. Hive's just now almost half done, which means his 3-3 upgrades are going to be incredibly far behind. DD is just going to have a ridiculous timing push coming up here right before Ultra Ogudlo Tech comes out.
It's interesting how he's using his factories to me. We see 2 more, well, a second Thor coming out. That's actually kind of a key number. It seems to be 2 Thors to anchor a Terran army. when you're not featuring Thors is a bit of a standard move.
Yeah, particularly against any style that incorporates mutas. Mutas are kind of like your excuse to get those Thors in the army.
Yeah.
They're equivalent resource investments, and they're not a complete waste like they are against ground-based styles. And then you have just these two massive tanks that deal quite a bit of DPS in your army. And DD moving out, clearing out creep, knowing that he's going to attack soon, and preparing the map for that. I
do want to say, though, as these Infestors come out, Terran Army only actually has 4 tanks with it. And he is producing more behind. Actually, no, he's not. He's got a 3rd Thor coming out. But 4 tanks is not the end of the world for the Zerg player.
Oh, almost an engagement there. Kane wisely backs off. That's not the angle you want to attack into a Terran army with. Not a lot of medevacs here from DD either. He's kind of missing a lot of crucial parts of his army. He has to be really careful with his control.
But Kane looks like he wants to engage. I think this might be a mistake. He's going to go for it. He gets a good surround. The tanks are not sieged just yet. This is a pretty interesting altercation here. Fungos are going down, but there's a lot of Terran behind this, and I think the Zerg just, well, he kind of blew his wad on that.
Yeah, he lost way too much going into there. The tanks weren't sieged, but the position was just way too bad for Kane. And at the same time, a drop coming in here, killing off some drones. He will lose that drop, but that drop is allowing DD to get himself into position, take out this base, and get sieged in the center. He's free to put tanks and Thors up here on the high ground if he wants to really assist that push, and more units just streaming out from DD. And Kane, Hive Tech, his Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. He does have the 3/3 upgrades on the way, but he has enough money to make a handful of Ultras, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. He can't sustain it. He can't break through here very easily at all.
I mean, the Terran player doesn't have a lot of medevacs, to your point, and still with only just, what is this, 1 tank now? I mean, I think DD's doing brilliant moves here and is really carving out for himself an advantage, but he's got to be careful. He's only on 3 bases. He doesn't have a lot of Harvesters, and if he loses this army, he might lose the game. The Zerg can regenerate faster.
Definitely. That 3rd base has been running for Kane the entire time. If he gets one huge, overwhelming victory, as you can do with Ultralisk and Zerglings, that could be the end of it. And that medevac lost pretty much full units in it, did 0 damage.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing Kane needs to do. He just needs to keep absorbing attacks and wait for that one opportune battle. And 4 Ultralisks in production. If he can wait for 3/3 upgrades and get 4 Ultralisks out, he may have a chance here.
I'm actually going to come out and say it. I think Kane's ahead right now, Greg. I mean,
2 more Ultras here. Oh, those are the initial 4 Ultras.
Yeah.
And DD, I don't know. He's not really establishing himself that well. There's only 2 more tanks on the way. He doesn't have any units up on the high ground, which I really like.
Oh, I don't like this. He's going to try to attack wrapping around that rock face. The tanks.
Not the position Kane was
looking
for. This
is terrible.
His Ultras are all caught behind the roaches.
Oh, he's dancing in his own blood, man. That was the worst fight ever.
Yeah, that was the exact opposite of what Kane actually needed to do there. He had gotten himself in a good position with good patience, and he just throws it all away. But DD is kind of overcommitting here. He's moving forward too quickly.
Do this.
He needs to be really, really careful. Oh, and
he's all balled up.
Marines.
He can't push out like this. The Ultras are going down pretty fast. These are well-upgraded Marine. There are 3/3. Muta's just now showing up. They're getting carved up. A couple of Fungals go down, but the medevacs there.
Big fungal there on those Marines. A lot of them
survived. The Zerg's lost his army.
He has 3/3 just now finishing for Kane. He actually attacked immediately before 3/3 finished. That was an anti-timing for him there. And more units coming in for DD. It's just too much stuff. Kane's going to
DD's going to go ahead and string a win here. And I think it's really unfortunate. I think Kane was in a position to actually win this.
And Kane GG's.
I'm not just being a bitter pro gamer. I really feel like his army, if DD moves out from those rocks, he gets smashed. If he's behind the rocks and Kane attacks pre-upgrades, like you said, Terran wins.
Yeah, that was just like the worst possible attack for Kane. It was literally immediately before 3/3 upgrades were going to finish. And even with that Thor out in front, that meant he'd spent even more time out in front of the rocks, not getting in, not engaging the rest of the army. And the Thor is the tank. The Thor is what he wants you to be attacking. That could not have gone better for DD. Kane could have made a worse decision about when to attack.
I'll tell you what, though, that's just one of the first round matches. To give you an idea of how competitive this tournament is, DD and Kane did a beautiful display of competition. Like, we were kind of talking about how perhaps Kane's a little bit nervous. If that's Kane playing nervous, look out, loser bracket. This guy will probably come back as DD does take this 2-1 in the first round, but amazing series. I thought it was really well played. I think the North American server has some stuff to show you guys. Hopefully you're impressed as well. We're just having a great time here. It's really loud. So I think I can't tell if we're just yelling and have we compensated?
I don't know. I can barely hear you during the cast. They're actually way too excited out there.
I've been brilliant the whole time.
Okay.
It would be amazing.
I'm sure you were. I was too.
I
just
could tell.
So you know.
I could tell.
That was a great cast, I'm sure. Hopefully someone heard it somewhere.
If you guys are hearing it, that's actually all that matters. We're going to go to a commercial break as we sort out this next match. I believe it's McKengen going up against Root Slush.
Slush, another big story here. He actually hadn't really been playing at all, but he's been practicing very actively, specifically for this tournament over the last few months. And he's one of one of like the original North American Zergs. He's been around in MLGs forever.
He's one of the best MLG competitors, actually. He's done a really good job.
He was consistent top 8s for a long time, and no one really knew who he was.
So, guys, if you don't have $300 to ask Greg to explain ZVZ to you, this is a great opportunity because we're going to cast the ZVZ, and he's going to talk a lot of smart stuff. Tune in just after this commercial break. We'll see you soon.
I can see the sun coming up, and I need it.